Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown results, 205 Live's results as well. Birthdays for this week, January 22nd through the 26th. Hall of Famer Tully Blanchard turned 65 years old on the 22nd. 23rd birthday, Leilani Kai. She was born 1960. Alex Silva was born 1990. Mike Awesome was born 1965. Honky Tonk Man was born January 25th of 1953. Michelle McCool, 1980. Jay Briscoe, 1984. Mark Andrews, 1992. And rounding off the birthdays for 26th, Road Warrior Hawk, 1957. Taylor Wilde, 1986. Evil of New Japan Pro Wrestling, 1987. And Sasha Banks, 1992. WWE 2K19 Rising Stars Pack DLC is now available on the 2K19 game. The pack features Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Lacey Evans, Leo Rush, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, and WWE NXT North American Champion Ricochet. And here's the trailer for that pack. And by the way, Maria Kanellis and Mike Kanellis recently requested their releases from WWE. Eric Rowan is backstage for tonight's SmackDown in Wichita, Kansas. According to PW Insider, it was recently reported that the Bludgeon Brothers would be returning to action this month, or at least back on the road with WWE. Luke Harper is not backstage at tonight's show. Rowan has been out of action since August 2018 with a bicep injury. Harper was at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando on Monday. On a related note, Maria Kanellis was also not backstage for the tapings. So I'm guessing that they were given their releases. Indie women's wrestling wrestler Taylor Hendricks indicated on Twitter that she will be at SmackDown in Wichita, perhaps working as an enhancement talent. Hendricks worked as a Rosebud for Adam Rose back in 2015, then attempted a WWE tryout in 2015. She tweeted the following today. Taylor Hendricks at Taylor_Hendricks. SmackDown tonight. Hashtag HD Live. Hashtag WWE. WWE claiming that John Cena was injured on Monday prior to the Royal Rumble. Executive work. According to Dave Meltzer on the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, as previously reported, Cena started filming another movie in Vancouver this week. The injury angle may have just been a way to write Cena out of the Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Meltzer reported earlier in the month that WWE was planning for Cena to face Lars Sullivan at WrestleMania 35. He speculated that the original plan might have been for Sullivan to injure Cena to take him out of the Rumble. This would have started the build toward their scheduled match at WrestleMania and kept Cena off of WWE TV while he filmed his new movie. Sullivan ended up not making his main roster debut at Raw and SmackDown TV tapings earlier this month, reportedly due to an anxiety attack. Road to WrestleMania for John Cena might have been a drastic turn. WWE announced that John Cena re-aggravated a left ankle injury that he sustained last week. The status for the Rumble is unknown. According to WWE.com, the injury seemingly occurred when McIntyre applied the ankle lock on Cena during the Fatal 4-Way Contenders match on Raw, which was won by Finn Balor. It was noted that Cena was favoring his left ankle while leaving the ring after Raw went off the air. Well, they finished with Raw going off the air with the women's match, not the Fatal 4-Way. Cena then re-aggravated the injury while training earlier at the gym. As WWE and Cena will be providing an update over the next few days in regards to his Royal Rumble status. The Royal Rumble takes place this Sunday, January 27th, inside Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Breaking news at John Cena's status for Sunday's men's at Royal Rumble. Hashtag Royal Rumble match is in question following an injury he suffered last week on hashtag Raw. More details, you can go to this link. Actually, there's two links there. A picture and a link. Also noted, WWE announced that what is believed to be a storyline ankle injury for Cena on Monday, putting his Royal Rumble status up in the air. Cena took to Twitter today and commented on the injury. Cena was not backstage at last night's Raw. Wrote, setbacks are a large part of life. People often say, what a bad time to hurt or get hurt, or I can't believe this happened to me now. Ask yourself, is there a good time to get hurt or be set back? Setbacks are just another chance to find triumph. Never give up. Vince McMahon's XFL Football League is reportedly having TV deal talks with Fox and ESPN, according to Sports Business Daily via Awful Announcing. Pair of TV deals for the XFL would see games air on ABC, Fox, ESPN, and FS1. I did a report on the Raw results as well. The talks do not involve the XFL airing on ESPN's streaming service, ESPN Plus, at least as of now. SBD sources note that XFL's officials expect to have at least 2/3 of their games aired on broadcast TV. XFL will relaunch in 2020 on Saturday, February 8th, and Sunday, February 9th, the weekend following NFL Super Bowl. 8 teams have been announced for the relaunch season, representing New York City, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, St. Louis, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. SBD also reported that the Alliance of American Football, which will compete with the XFL in hopes of one day competing with the NFL, currently has a TV deal in place with CBS. At least one AAF championship game will air on CBS in April, and their cable channel, CBS Sports Network, is committed to airing at least one AAF game per week. The AAF will also be promoted during the coming Super Bowl Sunday coverage on CBS, and they're said to be in talks with the NFL Network to carry several games. The AAF will debut on Saturday, February 9th of this year. Former Impact Wrestling World Champion Eli Drake. Dummy, yeah. And reigning Knockout Champion Taya Valkyrie making appearances in Las Vegas today at their annual SHOT Show Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show. For the past 40 years and the 10th year in a row at the Sands Expo Center in Las Vegas, firearm industry professionals gather for the SHOT Show, the largest trade show for target shooting, hunting, outdoor, and law enforcement products. And can be seen at this link. Also, Undertaker was there with them in one of the pictures. Undertaker was on hand for the show, and Drake posted the photo below with a Phenom and Valkyrie. Drake noted that he casually mentioned Taker, who then appeared out of nowhere not 10 seconds later. At the Eli Drake, I casually mentioned at Undertaker's name, and he appears out of nowhere not 10 seconds later. I feel like at WWE Universe had a hand in this. Hashtag SHOT Show 2019. The 41st SHOT Show ends this Friday. Drake and Valkyrie will be appearing at the show on Thursday as well. As I got the news on late Thursday as well for this. WWE 2K19. I think I did that one twice. You can look on YouTube for a video of Ricochet's entrance in the game. Also, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Lacey Evans, Leo Rush, Mike Kanellis, Murray Kellis, and NXT North American Champion Ricochet. 2K posted a video of Ricochet's entrance. Revival's Dash Wilder took to Instagram today and apparently made light of the reports that he and Scott Dawson asking for their WWE releases earlier this month, as seen below. Dash posted a screenshot from last night's Raw segment with the Revival and Vince McMahon, which led to them getting another shot at Raw Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. But the Revival lost the match, which featured Kurt Hawkins as special referee. You can see Wilder's post below at this link. Vinny, you got it set? We have a request. Hashtag FTR. They didn't get a chance to even say what the request was. As Vince McMahon just posted, what? You got a match? And the special referee. Otis Josevic has been removed from the NXT team for the Worlds Collide tournament that will take place during the Royal Rumble Access sessions this coming weekend. As he made his live debut with the main roster call-up, Otis has been replaced by Shane Thorne. WWE also confirmed that the tournament will begin on the taping on Saturday afternoon during the second access session. It will conclude at the final session on Sunday. Also noted a 15-man Battle Royal will determine the first round matches, and the Battle Royal will take place on Saturday morning. WWE has moved 2 matches from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view card to the kickoff pre-show. Shinsuke Nakamura versus U.S. Champion Rusev, and Akira Tozawa versus Kalisto versus Hideo Itami versus Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy. 2019 Royal Rumble pay-per-view takes place on Sunday from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. And here's your updated card. Universal title match, Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. WWE title match, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan. Raw Women's title match, Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey. SmackDown Women's title match, Becky Lynch versus Asuka. SmackDown Tag Team title match, Miz and Shane McMahon versus Cesaro and Sheamus. 30 Women Royal Rumble match, not all 30 have been announced. Of course, Carmella is number 30. Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans, Bayley, Tamina Snuka, Lana, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Ember Moon, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Alicia Fox, Natalya, Mickie James, Nia Jax, Nikki Cross, Naomi, Zelina Vega, Charlotte Flair, and others to be announced. 30-man Rumble match also doesn't have all 30 yet. R-Truth, Titus O'Neil, Rey Mysterio, Mustafa Ali, John Cena, Andrade, who dropped his name from Andrade Cien Almas, Apollo Crews, Elias, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Intercontinental Champion Bobby Lashley, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, Big E, Xavier Woods, Jeff Hardy. So there's your 24 names. 6 to be announced. Kickoff pre-show, U.S. Champion title match, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Rusev. Also the pre-show kickoff, Fatal 4-Way dance, Cruiserweight title match, Kalisto versus Akira Tozawa versus Hideo Itami versus Buddy Murphy. And he's your champion. Former UFC heavyweight champion, Fabricio Werdum, made headlines recently for his actions outside the octagon. Werdum, who is currently suspended and looking to fight away from the UFC, saved a drowning teen in California. Werdum's wife filmed much of the ordeal at this link, which you can see in that video. 41-year-old jumped into the water to help the two with a lifeguard, rescuing the boy while the other person saved the girl. Apparently both of them, two were drowning. The Brazilian is serving a 2-year suspension for taking a banned substance last year, handed down by the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. Dolph Ziggler was not backstage at last night's WWE Raw, but he was only scheduled for the weekend live events. According to PW Insider, it will be interesting to see if Ziggler works the 30-man Rumble match on Sunday as he lives in Phoenix. As we've noted, Ziggler is rumored to be on his way out of the company, but that has not been confirmed. He reportedly turned down a producer's role, and one source believed that he could be done with the company as early as January 31st, according to PW Insider. On a related note, Ziggler continued to focus on his stand-up comedy career. At this link, he tweeted following on the new tour and noted that more dates will be added. At Heel Ziggler, hashtag Heel Crew Comedy Tour. No, these aren't the only cities ever. No, you shouldn't ask if the city is on there when you clearly see it isn't. Yes, there are several more in the works due to your patronage, including overseas. Yes, it's a blast. The dark match before SmackDown from the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas, saw Heavy Machinery's Tucker Knight and Otis Dojovic defeat the Colognes, Primo and Epco. This week's Royal Rumble Go-Home edition of SmackDown did not feature any of the new call-ups from WWE NXT. EC3, Lacey Evans, and Heavy Machinery were seen on Monday's Raw, so that's most likely that they're headed to Raw, while Nikki Cross was mentioned. Former Impact X Division champion Trevor Lee recently announced that he has signed with WWE. He will be starting at the Performance Center early in February with several other recognizable names. Former TNA Gut Check winner Sam Shaw will also be reported to the Performance Center in February. Shaw worked for TNA from 2010 to June of 2015. Rachel Ellering and Karen Q will also be part of the February class. Both women competed in the 2018 Mae Young Classic tournament. Ellering also worked in 2017 Mae Young Classic, as well as several matches in NXT. ACH will also be a part of the February class. ACH had previously been working for NJPW. Other names for February class include Canadian Tag Team 3.0, Scott Parker and Shane Matthews, Jonah Rock, Elliot Sexton, and former Monster Factory Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion Nick Camarado, who is 6'3", 275. Royal Rumble Go-Home edition of SmackDown opens up from the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas. Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's chimed in by Corey Graves and Byron Sexton. We go right to the ring. Out comes Becky Lynch to a pop. Becky takes the mic and fans start chanting her name. Becky says it's good to be back in town. Becky says that there's nothing like Nothing she likes doing more than fighting in the ring, but now she has something to say. Becky says there's nothing she likes doing more than fighting in the ring, but now she has something to say. Again, that's twice. She goes on about how everyone has an opinion on her and what she should be doing these days. She says the only thing that a man should be doing is main eventing WrestleMania. Fan chant her name again. And slapping the heads off of everyone who gets in her way, Becky says the journey starts in 5 days at the Royal Rumble. She brings up SmackDown's Women's Champion Asuka next, saying that she's watched her clean out WWE NXT and then steamroll SmackDown. Becky says Asuka is one of the best in the world, but she's better. Becky says Asuka never beat her for the title. Becky goes on and says she's coming to take out the Empress. The music interrupts and out comes Asuka. Asuka hits the ring with her title and poses in the corner as Becky stares her down. Asuka raises the title in Becky's face and talks trash. Fan chant Becky's name as they face off in the middle of the ring. Charlotte's music hits and out she comes. Flair speaks from the ramp and says as much as she's enjoying this and is excited for their match on Sunday, nothing will be more exciting than when she tosses out 29 other women to run the Rumble. She mentions the choices for WrestleMania 35 being Sasha Banks, Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, Becky, and Asuka. Flair reminds Asuka how she ended her streak last year at WrestleMania. Fans interrupted that with a chant for Becky. Flair says she has owned the division for the past 4 years, and she is the main event. Asuka attacks Becky from behind and beats her down. Flair watches as the fans chant for Becky. Referees and producers run down to break the ball up. Becky fights him off and goes for Asuka again on the floor. Asuka launches Becky into the barrier. Becky fights back and drops Asuka. Becky tosses Asuka over to the announce table now. Becky whips Asuka with her jacket as officials try to break them up again. Becky jumps off the announce table and takes Asuka down again. Becky marches up the ramp as Asuka screams and recovers. We go to commercial. Back for the break, we see Asuka and Becky Lynch brawling backstage. And now this leads us to a video package on the feud between Mandy Rose and Naomi, which was up next. Naomi versus Mandy Rose. We go to the ring. Out comes Naomi first. Mandy was out next with Sonya Deville. Her faction partner. Naomi meets Rose on the ramp and starts brawling with her. Naomi was shot into the apron head first. Naomi brings it in the ring, and the bell rings as Naomi hits the rear view. Rose looks to fight back, but Naomi unloads and drops her again. Rose goes to the floor to regroup with Deville. Naomi looks on from the ring. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Rose misses a strike, and Naomi drops her with a kick to the head. Naomi with more offense, and Deville looks on. Rose turns around for a 2 count. Rose stomps on Naomi now, then kicks her. Rose keeps control and unloads on Naomi in the corner. Naomi comes back with a kick to the head to drop Rose again. Naomi stays on top of Rose and keeps up the attack. Naomi launches Rose across the ring. Rose hits Naomi to the apron. Deville tries to interfere after they distract the referee. Naomi kicks Deville back to the ground as Rose takes advantage and rams her into the ring post. Rose covers for the pin to win the match. After the match, Rose exits the ring to celebrate with Deville at ringside as the music hits. Naomi recovers and looks on as we go to replays. Jimmy Uso comes down to check on his wife, but Naomi is in a bad mood. We go backstage to a promo from Rey Mysterio. He talks about the tools he used to previously stay alive in the Royal Rumble, and he's looking to repeat history tonight. But tonight it's about respect. He tried to show Andrade respect last week. Mysterio reveals that Zelina Vega will be banned from ringside tonight for the 2 out of 3 falls match as a way to even the playing field. Rey says Andrade will learn tonight that in order to gain respect, you must earn it. We see The Miz backstage warming up. Shane McMahon opposes and asks if he's ready. Shane says, let's do this, and they head to the ring. We go to the commercial. Miz versus Cesaro. Back for the break, out comes The Miz with Shane McMahon. I actually watched this match and I fell asleep. Good time to go to sleep. Now, SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Bar were out next. Cesaro with Sheamus. We see how last week's birthday party bash for Shane ended. Sheamus distracted Miz from the apron and the bell rings and Cesaro takes advantage. Unloading on the Miz and uppercuts, bringing him down. Cesaro keeps control and hits a big gut wrench slam. Cesaro taunts Shane. Cesaro is still in control and hits a backbreaker for a 2 count. Miz looks to mount offense now, taking Cesaro to the corner. Miz goes for the figure four and applies it in the middle of the ring. Cesaro breaks it up by getting to the bottom rope. Sheamus pulls Cesaro to safety, but Miz follows. Miz gets dropped off to the distraction. Sheamus comes over, and the referee comes out to make sure Miz isn't double teamed. We go to commercial. Back for the break, they trade shots on their feet. Miz with kicks in the corner, and now as the fans do the yes chants, Miz runs and nails the corner drop kick, and then another. Shane looks on as Miz nails the flying clothesline in the corner, as the fans pop again. Miz goes to the top, and Cesaro catches him on the way down with a big uppercut for a close 2 count after Shane assists from the apron. Sheamus runs over and knocks Shane into the barrier. Miz takes advantage of a distraction Cesaro for a 2 count. Cesaro blocks the course of finale. Sheamus decks Miz through the ropes while the referee is distracted. Cesaro nails the neutralizer for the pin and the win. So, they aren't the tag team champions, yet they probably get a rematch for Survivor Series. After the match, Shane attacks Sheamus at ringside and pounds on him. Cesaro makes a save, but Shane sends him to the ring post. Fans chant for Shane. Shane takes apart the announce table, and the fans pop again. Shane goes to the top for a big elbow drop to Cesaro through the table, but Sheamus comes from behind and pushes him off. Shane lands hard on the floor, hitting the barrier. Fans boo. Miz goes down again, and the bar goes outside to double team Shane on the floor. Cesaro holds Shane and Sheamus, levels him with a bro kick. The bar places Miz on the announce table now. The bar lifts Shane and powerbombs him onto Miz, putting him both to the announce table. Fans boo the bar as they raise the titles over Shane and the Miz, who are laid out on what's left of the announce table. The bar celebrates in the back as officials and medics check on the co-Bessies. Now the announcers play up the seriousness of the situation. Tom leads us to a video package of Samoa Joe's attack of Mustafa Ali last week before the match even got started. The video includes words from Ali, who says Joe's eyes told him that he was worried to be in the ring with Ali. That Ali was a message to everyone else in the Rumble. That Ali was nothing. Ali wants Joe to square up and look directly in his eyes now. Ali goes on about how he has a purpose and no fear. Ali says he can beat Joe. We get another look at medics checking on Shane and Miz at ringside. Mitch McMahon is shown backstage watching. We get another replay of what the bar did. We see Vince watching again as Miz gets to his feet. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Out comes WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. Greg Hamilton does the ring introductions. Vince said he will reserve comment for what just happened to his son and the Miz at the hands of the bar. Vince says that will be a hell of a match on Sunday at the Rumble. Like I said, there's your prediction. Vince hypes up the WWE title match between AJ Styles and champion Daniel Bryan for the Rumble. Vince introduces AJ first, and out he comes to a pop. Vince introduces Bryan next, and out he comes, the WWE champion, but doesn't come to the ring. Bryan's on the outside, and Vince asks him to come in. Bryan says he's not falling for the trap, and refuses to come into the ring with a sociopath. Bryan brings up how AJ attacked him in the concourse last week. Bryan goes on and says he can't allow AJ to take the title from him. Bryan says AJ uses his power to get fame and money, while he uses his power for the greater good. AJ asks if the greater good is Bryan coming out here and talking like a jackass. Bryan says AJ never made fans think or feel guilty about their actions, which they should feel bad about every single day. Bryan doesn't care about their feelings because he's not the people's champion. He is the planet's champion. Bryan goes on about using his platform to be the voice of the planet. AJ mentions how Bryan didn't ride his bike to the arena tonight. He rode in on a plane just like AJ, and the word for that is fickle. And he got the crowd chanting, fickle, 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 fickle. AJ goes on about how Bryan is afraid of him, afraid of what will happen in 5 days at the Rumble. AJ says Bryan is corrupted, has corrupted his morals for one thing, the WWE title. But what happens when AJ takes that one thing from Bryan? What will he have left? Nothing. Bryan goes to quote Carl Sagan, but Vince interrupts. Vince says he's tired of this. Bryan, get in the ring. Fans pop. And yes, Borgasm chance starts over the crowd. Bryan says, of course, Vince doesn't want to listen to this because of Vince and the entire baby boomer generation are the greater parasites of the world. Bryan goes on about how Vince's generation does nothing but take, and the people still bow to him for it. Bryan goes on about Vince's hoarding the wealth of WWE. And AJ until Vince interrupts, telling him to get in the ring again. Fan chant for Vince again. AJ says he knows Vince advertised a face-to-face with AJ and Bryan, and if that's what he wants, it doesn't necessarily have to happen in the ring. AJ goes out after Bryan and beats him down. They brawl, and AJ sends Bryan into the steel steps. AJ brings him back in the ring and goes to springboard in with a phenomenal forearm. But Bryan puts Vince in the way. AJ puts on the brakes. Bryan goes around Vince and drops AJ with the knee. Fans boo. Bryan retreats to the stage with the title in the air as his music plays. R-Truth's backstage with Carmella, talking about going into the men's Rumble at number 30. Truth says he will win and then face AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35. Carmella asks about Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, but Truth doesn't want to get taken to Suplex City. Truth mentions possibly going for the WWE Cruiserweight Champion Bobby Murphy. Well, it's actually Buddy Murphy, not Bobby Murphy. Truth made a mistake on that one. Carmella corrected him, reminding him it's Buddy Murphy. They joke about the 205-pound weight limit until Charlotte Flair interrupts. They have words about the Women's Rumble. Carmella says she's number 30 and no one is getting past her. Flair says she's confident because she is Charlotte Flair, and with a trip to WrestleMania up for grabs, she will be like a tornado. Change the segment. Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali rematch. We go to ring. Out comes Samoa Joe. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Out comes Mustafa Ali. The bell rings and Joe strikes first. Joe unloads and they end up on the floor. Joe tries to send Ali into the ring post again, but Ali counters and fights back. Ali brings him back in the ring and keeps the attack going. Ali with shots in the corner. Joe drops him with a big chop out of the corner. Joe charges in the corner but misses. Ali goes on and tries to springboard up, but Joe knocks him out of the air. Ali lands on the floor as we go back to commercial. Back to the break, Joe takes Ali to the corner, beats him down. Joe talks trash as Ali crawls at him. Ali counters a shot and fights back. Joe charges out Ali in the corner and drops him with a kick for a 2 count. Joe keeps control and misses in the corner as Ali moves. Ali goes on and drops Joe face first into the mat. Ali drop kicks twice, sending him out of the ring. Ali runs the ropes and nails a big suicide dive. Joe stumbles around. Ali charges, but Joe backdrops him into the timekeeper's area. Ali leaps off the top of the barrier and unloads on Joe as the referee counts. Joe brings him back in the ring, but Ali kicks him. Ali with a pair of super kicks. Ali with a big tornado DDT for a 2 count. Ali drags Joe over and Joe goes to the top for the 450. Joe runs up and cuts him off. Joe with a coke-headed clutch down, taking Ali down to the mat with the hold applied. Ali taps out to give Joe the win. After the match, Joe stands tall over Ali as his music hits. We see Andrade backstage warming up for the main event. Back to commercial. Back to the break and announces hype the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Kayla Braxton's backstage with the New Day. She asks if they would eliminate each other on Sunday in the Rumble match. They say everyone asks them this every year. Renee Young, Mike Rome, and now Kayla. Who's next? Tony Schimmel? Well, guess what? Schimmel actually appears on the corner of the screen and asks him, but they make him leave. Put the hand in his face, and he leaves. They go on about when one of them wins the Rumble, they all win. Kofi Kingston has big idea for the Rumble, but he's not revealing it yet. Probably a handstand. 2 out of 3 falls match for your main event, Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. We go to the ring for tonight's main event, and out first comes Rey Mysterio. Andrade was out by himself as Zelina was banned from ringside for the match. The bell rings and Andrade strikes first with a kick. Andrade fights Rey, but Rey turns it around and sends him out of the ring. Rey leaps from the top to the floor, launching Andrade with a Hurricanrana for a pop. Back to commercial. Back for the break. Rey drops Andrade with a big kick. Rey flies in with a seated senton and looks to keep the attack, but Andrade drop kicks him out of the air and covers for a 2 count. Rey blocks a hammerlock DDT, hits Canadian Destroyer for a close 2 count. Andrade catches the move from the turnbuckles and covers for a 2 count. Rey goes to the second rope, but Andrade counters and takes the left knee out. Andrade goes to the top, but Rey takes his legs out now. Rey rocks Andrade and climbs up. Rey repositions Andrade and works him over. Andrade counters and puts Rey on his shoulders, but Rey fights back. Still on the top. Rey goes for the super Hurricanrana, but Andrade counters. The sequence ended with Andrade hitting a big super power bomb from the top, and Andrade holds it for his pinfall. We get replays as Ray recovers and fans chant, "This is awesome." Now, Andrade gets to his feet, fighting while the referee checks on Ray following the big powerbomb. Fall number 2 starts. Ray finally gets up. Andrade goes right back to work on him. Andrade with a sit-down powerbomb off the top rope slingshot. Ray kicks out at 2. Andrade goes for another powerbomb, but Ray counters with another destroyer. Ray covers for the second pinfall. So it's 1-1. We get a replay. Go to commercial with both superstars down. Ray back from the break. Ray ends up sending Andrade into the barrier on the outside. Ray with enziguri. They both go down on the floor as the referee counts. Ray makes it back into the ring. Ray runs the ropes and slides out, turning that into a powerbomb to almost on the floor. The referee comes out to check on Andrade. Ray grabs a bottle of water and cools himself off as the referee counts. Ray brings Andrade back in the ring. Ray springboards in and turns that into a big West Coast pop. Andrade seal kicks out at 2. Fan chat for the 619 now. Andrade counters and applies an armbar on the ropes. Referee counts to 5 as Andrade breaks a hold. Andrade sends Ray arm first into turnbuckles. Andrade mocks Ray in WWF Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero as fans boo. Ray fights back and tries to powerbomb Andrade from the apron to the floor, but Andrade lands on his feet. Andrade comes back and launches Ray into the ring post. Andrade brings him back into the ring, hits a hammerlock DDT, but Ray gets his foot on the bottom rope at the last moment. Andrade drops Ray into Fujiwara armbar. Ray fights back, but Andrade tightens the hold and focuses back on the arm. More back and forth between the two now. Andrade counters and covers for a 2 count. Ray counters a move and hits a big inverted Hurricane Rana. Andrade kicks out at 2. Ray flies and drops Andrade into position for the 619. Ray hits it and the fans pop. Ray waits for the springboard in from the apron, but Samoa Joe runs down and powerbombs him into the apron for the disqualification. No contest for the third fall. After the bell, Joe enters the ring and takes out Andrade as fans boo. Joe brings Ray back in the ring and applies a coquina clutch while the referee tries to get him to break it. Joe breaks a hold and stands over Ray. We go to replays. Joe takes the mic and says he warned everyone that he came to make a statement. Joe says what we see in the ring tonight is exactly what he will do to the other 29 superstars in the Royal Rumble on Sunday. Because his name is Samoa Joe, well, Randy Orton comes flying in out of nowhere with a big RKO out of nowhere. Fans pop as Orton gets hyped up. We go to replays as Orton music hits. Orton poses in the corner as a final SmackDown before Royal Rumble goes off the air. 205 Live results. Drake Member welcomes us to the show, promises one of the more intriguing lineups for tonight's 205 Live. He gives a recap of last week's episode with Humberto Carrillo making his 205 Live debut in a losing effort against champion Buddy Murphy. Maverick informs us that the performance Carrillo gave was good enough to get signed to the roster. He'll be in action tonight and in the main event. 3 challengers for the Cruiserweight Championship will face off in a triple threat. 205 Live intro. Vic Joseph McGinnis and newest member Aiden English is on the announcing team. Welcomes us to the most exciting hour of television. English is now dubbed it the most dramatic hour. They tell us that the Fatal 4-Way Cruiserweight title matchup will be on the Royal Rumble pre-show this weekend. Not surprising. Grand Metalik was on his way to the ring for the first match of the evening. Fellow Lucha House Party members are not with him. Humberto Carrillo is his opponent. Not the main event, but the first match. Grand Metalik versus Humberto Carrillo. Somebody actually could have found it this link. Collar elbow tie-up. Carrillo snatches on the arm lock, but Metalik uses his speed to escape. Both men show off some incredible athleticism, flipping counters and a series of flush arm drags. Carrillo uses the ropes to toss Metalik to ringside, twisting Tope con Hilo from Carrillo. Back in the ring, Carrillo lands a vertical suplex and a power slam in succession. He goes for the moonsault, but Metalik gets his feet up, nailing Carrillo under the jaw. Sling blade from Metalik with a cover. Carrillo kicked out. The king of the ropes, Metalik, jumps from one middle rope to the other and nails Carrillo with a drop kick. He wears Carrillo down with a chin lock. Carrillo tries to escape, but Metalik overpowers him down to keep the hold locked in. Both men start trading strikes in the corner. Carrillo wins the exchange with a quick combo, ending with an enziguri. They slide to the apron. Big boot from Metalik. Carrillo fires back with a super kick. He climbs and lands a top rope facebuster, smashing Metalik off the apron. Carrillo climbs to the top again. Superfly splash with a pin attempt. This time Metalik kicks out. Carrillo ends up on the apron again. Metalik jumps over the ropes and Frankensteiners him to the arena floor. Metalik tosses Carrillo back in the ring. Springboard swanton bomb. Pinfall. Carrillo gets a shoulder up. Metalik puts Carrillo on the top rope. Slaps him in the chest. Goes for a superplex, but Carrillo pushes him off. Missile drop kick from Carrillo. He drags Metalik to the corner. Headstand splash. That'll do it. As Carrillo gets his win. First win by pinfall on 205 Live. After the match, Metalik and Carrillo shake hands out of respect. Backstage, Drake Maverick speaking with Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher about Humberto Carrillo's performance. Drew Gulak is unhappy and isn't even able to fathom together words out of anger. He and Gallagher leave. Tony Nese rolls up, begging Maverick for a rematch with Noam Dar. Maverick says that he will consider it. Nese says that Maverick should consider what would happen if he doesn't get that rematch. Promo from Kiro Tozawa. Brian Kendrick was with him. Kendrick says that there is too much on the line this weekend. Tozawa says he didn't come to this country to be embarrassed, and that at the Royal Rumble he will be a two-time Cruiserweight champion. Promo from Kalisto and Listerado, the Lucha House Party members. Kalisto says that if he wins on Sunday, all the Lucha House Party gets to call themselves champion. Segment ends with Dorado and Kalisto chanting the power of Lucha, Lucha, Lucha. Main event was next. Commercial for the go-home show of tomorrow's NXT. Kalisto comes out first, followed by Akira Tozawa. Hideo Itami's backstage with Javeri getting interviewed. Javeri says that Itami is the only man in this matchup that has not been Cruiserweight champion. And looking to send a message tonight, Hideo Itami then comes out. None of the competitors are accompanied to the ring by their sidekicks. Buddy Murphy's music hits. The champ joins the commentary team. Hideo Itami versus Kalisto versus Akira Tozawa. Some of that actually can be found in this link. Itami attacks Kalisto and Tozawa as soon as the bell rings. Targets Kalisto and fires back with a head scissors and a drop kick in succession. Kalisto with a combo on Itami, ending with an arm drag that sends Itami to the outside. Tozawa comes out of nowhere with a missile drop kick to Kalisto. He follows up with a suicide dive, hitting Kalisto. Tozawa stars, jaw jacking with Murphy. And Itami takes advantage with an elbow to the back. Back inside the ring, Itami stomps Tozawa down. Kalisto tries to get back into the ring, but gets booted in the face by Itami. Tozawa attempts him out and come back, but Itami shoves him down with a headlock. Big elbow from Itami onto Tozawa's back. Itami slides to the outside and strikes Kalisto. He boots Kalisto into the barricade, then jumps back in the ring to go after Tozawa. Tozawa surprised Itami with a Frankensteiner. Back suplex from Tozawa onto Itami. Kalisto comes off the top rope out of nowhere, but Tozawa catches him with a drop kick. He nails Kalisto with a flying elbow and goes for another suicide dive, but Itami intercepts with a stiff lariat. Cover attempt, Kalisto breaks it up. All three men are down. In the center of the ring, all three superstars trade blows. Tozawa wins the standoff with quick jabs, but both Itami and Kalisto. Quick jab to both Itami and Kalisto. He charges at Itami in the corner, but Itami gets his feet up. Itami climbs, but Kalisto nails him with a kick. He climbs up for a superplex. Itami blocks it, but Tozawa joins Kalisto for a double superplex. Buddy Murphy jumps in the ring and powerbombs him to the mat with a Tower of Doom spot. With this being no DQ match, the ref can't do anything. Murphy picks up all of his opponents. Kalisto lands a kick on the champ, followed by a boot by Tozawa. Double super kick sends Murphy to the outside. Suicide dive from Tozawa onto Murphy. Kalisto immediately turns his attention back to the matchup and nails Tozawa with a plancha. Itami boots Kalisto again. He picks up Tozawa, Falcon Arrow. Tozawa kicks out. Trouble in Paradise from Tozawa to Itami. Kalisto with springboard crossbody pinning Tozawa. Kicks out. Callisto puts Tozawa on the top rope. Climbs up for a superplex again, but Tommy breaks it up. Callisto tosses the Tommy to the outside. Callisto goes for the top rope Frankensteiner, but Tozawa blocks it, and Callisto hits the mat hard. Senton from Tozawa. Callisto moves. The Tommy out of nowhere with a drop kick. He lands his finisher on Tozawa. Got him. Here, Tommy wins by pinfall. And your new number one contender. DeVary comes out to raise his partner's hand. Tommy and Murphy stare each other down. That's the show, friends. WWE did a dark segment at Tuesday SmackDown in Wichita, where Sarah Schreiber brought several fans to the stage to do an impersonation contest. The contest was won by 3 fans, Max, Nixon, and Cooper, who impressed the New Day. As seen in a video where the winners were surprised by Kofi, Kingston, Big E, and Darrell Woods. I didn't get the link for that, but you could probably go to YouTube to find it. Speaking of Becky, she took to Twitter after Asuka attacking her on SmackDown and sent a proposal to fellow Irish superstar Finn Balor. Becky will challenge Asuka, while Balor will challenge Universal Champion Brock Lesnar at Sunday's Royal Rumble pay-per-view. She wrote, "Hey, at Finn Balor, want to win a couple of titles at Royal Rumble for old time's sake?" And you can see, you can hear the tweet here. The man at Becky Lynch, WWE. "Hey, at Finn Balor, want to win a couple of titles at the Royal Rumble for old time's sake?" And that concludes my results of 205 Live and SmackDown for this week. Thanks again. Peace out. See you want to be it. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.